Most people I've talked to are already on board. To make housing more affordable, we need to build more of it. But how do you win over an existing homeowner?
My experience, you don't.
Okay. Well, that's been an info hazard. Thanks for watching.
You might think you don't need to. Here, let's start with the pop quiz, guys. What is the U.S. rate of home ownership?
60%.
I think it's pretty high. I think it is like 60%, but yeah, I'll say 30%.
Dang. Well, the National Association of Home Builders says that as of mid-2024, 65.6 was the U.S. rate of home ownership. City slickers like us and guys in our 30s, it's pretty surprising. We know that people our age, the rate is much lower. And the younger you get, the lower it is, which some of that is just, natural. It takes time to earn money to buy a house. But some of it is change compared to previous generations. So yeah, anyway, it's not news to you, probably not news to many of our viewers that housing is unaffordable. But yeah, Danny's trite answer aside, too bad.
It might be news to our viewers that lots of people live in houses. Because it's not a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, like a majority of Americans even live in homes that they or their family owns. Okay, so yeah, I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. So, okay, maybe Danny's just like, I refuse to play. Like, homeowners cannot be convinced that houses.
I'll play.
I wasn't saying I was unwilling to try. I'm just saying, in my experience, I've not been successful.
Well, let's brainstorm.
Yeah, no, I want to play. I want to learn how to convince the NIMBYs. I'm doing some of that kind of work in Santa Cruz. Got like a housing working group that we're going to be doing some projects this fall. So yeah, I want to know. Let's build some high density apartments to block out our neighbor's sun.
Exactly.
That's what we're going for, right? We
exactly.
Like shade.
Well, and to have cars parked and blocking their driveway. And laundry, they're going to be just dirty laundry everywhere. Anyways, okay. All right. Enough picking on the NIMBYs here. I thought I tried to just make a pitch. I'm not sure that this would convince anyone, but here's just my first try, and I'd like your guys' feedback. So 3 reasons why mom and dad should say yes to yes to the construction in their backyard. Number 1, it is a contradiction to think that real estate should be a good investment and that future generations should be able to afford their housing.
If number go up, then the number is up, and then you can't buy that number if you can't afford it, because all the housing has been such a great investment.
Yeah,
it seems self-evident to me, but it's not evident to everyone. So maybe it's good to point that out.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I was using the exact same bad grammar. Number go up means number grow up. Basically, this truism that real estate is a good investment, or that it is or should be or will be a good investment, is kind of like crypto bro logic. It's just we're gonna hold on to your life, it's gonna go to the moon. It just makes no sense. Mm-hmm. What kind of thing could just go up in price for forever without
it's actually a rug pull. I'm gonna let all the info hazard people in on this super secret finance tip, but once we get enough people invest in land, I'm gonna start minting new land. So
shit.
Then we sell it all off.
Brilliant.
The Dutch strategy.
Exactly.
Here's another argument for a homeowner. Your real estate wealth from your primary residence doesn't actually do anything for you. You live there, and that's valuable. But if your house was worth half as much, you would still live there. It would be worth the same in terms of the actual value you get from it. Congrats, you're a millionaire, but can you afford college for your kids?
I've always wondered about this. People get underwater on their mortgage when the price of their home value drops, right? That happened to a ton of people in the recession.
They lost their job because the economy went to the shitter, dude.
So they were given loans that were optimistic, overly optimistic. The lenders weren't scrupulous with how they gave loans. And so
that's not true. They scrupulously covered up the bad loans, dude, so that no one could tell.
Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. Did I misuse scrupulous? I don't know. They weren't, they were being reckless with how they made loans. They made
You
loans to people
correctly
who
used
couldn't.
the term, but were overly generous with their intentions.
Right. So, right, exactly. So yeah, so people couldn't pay it back, and that is part of why the bubble burst. There are some exceptions to my claim that the wealth of your primary residence is not useful to you. Like there's such a thing as a home equity line of credit or a reverse mortgage. But like if you just had not spent the money on your house and had it in stock, like you can get a line of credit and use other investments as collateral. And yeah, a reverse mortgage is just, yeah, you're just similarly, like if you just had your money in other things, you could sell off those things to get money. So
Reverse mortgage is okay, but I prefer my advanced technique of the triple sal cow double reverse mortgage.
10 out of 10.
This is what gets the YouTube audience excited, is talking about reverse mortgage and home equity lines of credit, dude.
Very, very relevant stuff for most of our listeners. One other example of how the wealth from your house does you no good is that you think you can pass it down to your kids, but like if you live to your 80s, then like your kids are in their 50s or 60s. They already lived through the hard years without any help from your expensive, valuable house. So it's like they don't need a house when they're 60. They needed it when they were starting a family.
But also don't even worry about that money. All that money is going to United Health. Like that money is going to pay the insurance companies because of the cancer you're going to die of. Like that money is not sticking around with your children. I'm sorry.
That's right. Anyway, I'm just saying that even in the good case, like if you die of a car accident, the good case
of optimistic situations.
All right, and
what
here's
sort of arguments do we have?
Okay, so yeah, now here's an argument that definitely won't convince anybody. But like I feel like there's like some merit to it. High density can be great. For example,
I think this is a great argument. New York isn't expensive because it sucks. New York is great. People want to live there. There's lots of opportunity in a high-density place. There's lots of cool things to see in a high-density place because there's lots of people going around and doing things that are fun. Maybe controversial opinion, but it's fun to do things with other people. The more people you have around, the higher chance you have of having a group of people who like the same things you do that you can go do that thing with.
And like have fun. It is strange. I know it's strange, for people who have put in so much time for, so much of their working years to pay for privacy and a yard and a fence and a quiet neighborhood and a cul-de-sac or whatever. But yeah, like people is good. And like being close to transportation and like having cheaper and better infrastructure. Yeah, these are good things.
Finally, I was able to move out into the woods away from everyone and not see a single soul. Oh no, why am I so lonely?
Now I need to work for another 10 years so I can pay my therapist.
Yeah. Again, all that money going to the healthcare system. Can't escape it.
Okay, so what do you guys think? Have I convinced anyone?
No, not a single person. How many views do you think we have to get before you convince one person with this argument? Like 10,000 at least.
All it takes is one, man. We
Yeah,
might strike someone on the right day. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think you convince anyone like this, but I would hope like something like, it's not that long ago that I kind of realized that it's a contradiction, that real estate being a good investment and future generations should be able to afford their housing. These are contradictory things. Like, this is not, I didn't know this 10 years ago. Not everyone knows this.
And yet you're the one who's surprised when we're bringing up Friedrich Engels in both of our segments.
Anyway.
Yes, it's almost as if these internal contradictions within capitalism lead to negative results in our society. I think that with any convincing, it takes an emotional appeal for some people, a logical appeal for some people. These might work for some people. Like you are pointing out real things, the real benefits of building density in your city.
So do you guys have any that I missed? Any strong arguments to make to a homeowner?
Denser neighborhoods are more environmentally friendly. If you can build denser, you can rely less on individual transportation. You can build the user base that makes better public transit more worthwhile. If you build incredibly dense, you can build really good public transportation. Suddenly you're in a situation where it would make sense to have like a Tokyo metro, like Tokyo style metro. There's I don't know, you already made like this is all kind of under high density is awesome. But I think high density is awesome is a pretty broad topic. There's a lot of reasons why high density is awesome.
It's not the 1950s anymore. Not everyone needs a single-family detached house with a white picket fence.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep.
And it's not practical to provide that with as many people as we have now.
In our our current system where like people are having less children, there needs to be more spaces available for, non-nuclear families to live in, like a 2-person, 1-person apartment or a shared living space for many people. That makes more sense than just single family.
Would you call
dwellings.
it a commune?
I would call it roommates, but like you can call it a commune.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So great. So these arguments, homeowners who have believed that their house is an important investment because it is for them can see some logic to this. But I think that there's a lot of people who might agree with all this, but they have a problem with like my backyard, right? It's like I believe in this in general, but not in my backyard. This is, I think, the exact...
It's almost like there's a name for this.
The exact acronym. Right. And so, yeah, I think that like people are very critical of NIMBY folks. And I just want to take a moment to like defend part of the logic of NIMBYism, which is local action will have a relatively small impact on the overall market, right? So if you're in some suburb and they make the housing more dense there, it is not going to lower rent noticeably across the state. Meanwhile...
I don't even think that's true.
Well,
I think that has a knock-on effect, but go on.
Well, I'm saying that if it's a small, if it's
like if you build 100 houses, like it's very noticeable within the neighborhood where you build the 100 houses, but it's not going to like change the price.
Right. Like there is some effect, like you're saying, but it gets diffuse, right? It's a very clear local effect. And and that effect includes things like lowering the value of the houses there, which they are right to be opposed to something like that if they don't even think that it's solving the bigger problem, right? The problem is big. The solution done piecemeal has harm locally. So I think that this is a problem that requires broad action. Like I think that people might be more like on board with this if they didn't feel like it was just their neighborhood and their property value that's getting screwed with some small local project.
I admire your optimism.
These broader projects then get pushed down to the neighborhoods. What was that recent piece of California legislation where they basically invalidated a bunch of zoning laws and are, using that bill to push through a bunch of new housing projects? I mean, they still encounter that pushback from the locals.
I mean, okay, right. So yeah, people who are there will still have opinions, but I mean, there are limits to how much I get to dictate what my neighbors can build on their lot. The bill that you're referring to is California 79 or SB 79, which I think is state bill, but maybe it's some bitch 79.
Some bitch.
That
right there. That's zoning near transit stops. Yes, sir.
It's intended to upzone near public transit and basically overriding or further limiting how much local objections can dictate what a developer might build near public transit. It was introduced by State Senator Scott Wiener. This is my second favorite Wiener in California.
Thanks for saving me for number one.
Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, there might be more than one Wiener.
There might be a couple of Schnitzel comes to mind. Wiener Schnitzel.
Exactly.
Oscar Mayer.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I started to read the bill. It's a bill. It's a little hard to read. I didn't have the time to really think it through.
That's okay. Even the people whose job it is to read it don't read it, so don't feel bad.
And it's probably been through 3 more revisions since I did read it, because that's how it's happened. But I think like this is an important type of legislation is this broad YIMBY kind of legislation where, yeah, it kind of, people feel like they should control the character of their neighborhood, but there has to be a limit on that. And I think that people can get behind it a little bit more if they know that it's not just them, that the state is in this together. We have a statewide housing affordability problem, and that means that the price of housing has to go down. and that means yours.
Wow.
That means mine. So it hurts, but it hurts a little less if your community doesn't have to go out on some big limb to make it happen. So anyway, keep it up, Wiener. That's it for this segment. Go, take your complaints to your city council meeting, or better yet, don't.
Yeah. Bitch all you want, audience. Your complaints will be overwritten by Info Hazard Bill 79. And we'll write comments over your comments. You'll have no local control over your comments.
If you don't like it, leave
Suck
a
it.
comment.
I've always thought that we were the Gavin Newsom of podcasts.
He does have his
What?
own podcast.
Oddly, he's the Joe Rogan of podcasts.